Let's do this! Next up, we have Supernova by Xtrullor. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, support this channel as much as you want. But not at your own expense. Of course, two disclaimers. Number one, this is my first time hearing this track, so I will be pausing a lot, as I will be explaining things as I hear them or as I realize them. And number two, this is recorded live on stream on a single take, so I might stumble upon my words. Whatever happens, happens. And Xtrullor, if you watch this one, hi, how you doing? I am not holding back. So, with that being said, let's do this. Supernova. Let's go. Okay, so we start with a very, very cool, I would say, couple of layers. We start with a synth giving us what sounds like our initial motif. Motif, of course, being the smallest version of our musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from, right? And we are having it kind of obscured, kind of opaque. We have it sound a little bit distant, which is pretty normal when it comes to this kind of music. It's, you know, it's a good way of building things up. Michael, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the mosh pit. Welcome today. How you doing? And we're slowly doing this. It's called EQ, by the way. This kind of thing is called EQ. EQ, which stands for equalizing or equalization, is when you manipulate when you manipulate the spectrum of audio, of sound within a specific recording. So how does this work? We as human beings, we have a range of hearing between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. Hertz is just the measure of frequency in which an audio wave vibrates, right? So, when it comes to this, every sound technically has anywhere between 20 and 20,000 hertz. Joao, welcome today. How you doing? And this can then be manipulated via EQ. When it comes to EQ, you will usually see some sort of box. Let's say we have our audio over here, like our audio wave going through this. And you will have your equalization. Here's 20, here is 20K, and this is going to be your spectrum from left to right. And usually it does have some sort of visualizer like this when it comes to EQing. And you can then be like, okay, I want to take this over here in this range. Let's say we're the, like, I don't know, like 100 hertz mark, and we're going to bump this up so that it sounds more bassy. And if you do that in EQ, it's going to sound more bassy. And if you then take the higher range and do what I think it's a low pass, it's either a low pass or a high pass, you then just turn down the higher sound and it sounds like it's obscured, which is kind of what was sounding at the start of this thing. Don't request songs just yet. We're not taking live requests just yet. And that is what you get with EQing, and then you can do active EQing. Again, when it comes to audio, I refer to things as passive versus active. Deldex, welcome to the day. How you doing? Passive is when you set it up and you leave it like that for the entirety of the duration of the song or the track. Active is when it changes over time. So in this case, this would be active equalizing, because we start with the track having this kind of filter in the back, and it sounds bassy and distant and everything, and over time we just balance things back to their original sound so that it sounds nice and crispy and clear. And that's how we get this effect, plus an extra couple of layers. We have a layer that I think is doing some white noise, and an extra layer doing that really cool build-up sound that electronic music usually does. Come on. wrong button. Hang on, I pressed the wrong button here. Okay, usually yes. There we go. So let's continue. Yeah, Botrix is not the smartest bot, yeah. Alright, there we go. Okay, so you could hear that we had this kind of piano, kind of string instrument, like a synth, doing a variation of the motif. Because what we have in the motif right now is we are basically going around and doing this kind of shape with the motif. So we are playing a couple of notes before actually hitting the high spot. And then we have that. So when it comes to the piano is actually doing the higher notes, just the high notes, and holding those together, and that's how it relates to the the motif from the start. And then we have the bass line, which is a bass line. So the bass line, that's just usually the lowest notes of the track. And it's very, very often going to be fairly free-form as long as it fits. So let's see where this goes. And we have very chill drums. There's the build-up. And we have a very, very nice drum fill. Fairly straightforward. I mean, when it comes to... I play metal. I am a metalhead. So I am used to extremely elaborate, super intense drum fills. So hearing a drum fill go this simple. So a drum fill is what you just heard. It's a very unusual... not unusual, but it's a kind of like a one-shot drum rhythm that you can do... to transition between parts or between sections. And it can be as simple as hitting the drum once, or it can be a fill done by like some like prog metal, technical death metal band, right? So it can be anywhere, but as long as it serves as a connecting point between sections, it works. So let's see where this goes, because now we got the first drop. Let me just hear. Okay, very nice. We have the motif. It's good, yeah. So we are doing a couple of things with the motif here. So first, very lovely drum beat, very, very lovely bass line. The chords in the background are being held very, very nicely. And then with the motif, we are doing a couple of things. Number one, we are doing what is called elongation. We are elongating where we're taking the motif and we're stretching this. We are taking the variation from that piano-like sounding thing, synth, and we are elongating that. Mystic Guy, welcome today. How you doing? And Chorus, welcome today. And Legendary Ether, welcome today. So we're having the motif elongated in that way, and then we are doing the second half. Like first half seems to be elongated so that it takes longer for the notes to play out. And then we are doing the second half, which is kind of doing an inversion of the original motif as is. So an inversion in a motif, when it comes to melody, is you take a shape of whatever melody, and in this case, it is the whole shape of going like this. You take that, and you flip it upside down. And that's what you get, right? You get this kind of motif, which just gives the feeling of a lot more adornment, and it just sounds really nice. So let's see where it goes. Still trying to figure out what instrument this is. Very lovely. And we engage in octave displacement. Okay, so here's another concept. Man, we're getting a lot of really cool concepts here. So, octave displacement is what happens when you take a melody in a scale and you mess around which order of the scales happen. So, what is an octave? So, when it comes to music, we use what is called the chromatic scale. The chromatic scale is 12 notes, and out of those 12, you pick 7 notes for your scale. So, for the sake of brevity, let's say we have a scale made out of numbers 1 through 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So, once you hit that 7th, you go back to number 1. That is called the octave. And then the scale just repeats. And then it repeats, and it repeats, and it repeats, and it continues repeating indefinitely for as long as there is range. So we have this over here. And octave displacement is when you take a melody. Let's say we have the melody going from a number 1 to number 2 to number 3. Let's just make it a super simple melody, right? Octave displacement is saying either, okay, we're going to take it from 1 here to 2 over here to 3 down here, and that is octave displacement. Or we're saying, okay, we're going to repeat this twice. First time it's going to be here. Second time is going to be here. That is octave displacement, when you displace which octave the melody is happening in. Usually, composers and musicians use it the first time I explained it, like having the different notes go into different octaves, because it gives you this really cool sense of bouncing back and forth between your notes. And it's just a lot of fun. And the cool thing about these things is that this is just an observational concept. This is not a rule. This is just me observing and telling you how this is called. So, let's see where it goes. Here we go to the motif again. Chopin does it a lot. Yeah, a lot of composers do it a lot, yeah. Okay. And off the ramp we go. We have our first colloquial term of the day. Colloquial just means there is no academic term for it, or at least I'm not using one for the sake of being able to explain things for the sake of simplicity. Going off the ramp is a term that I like to use to explain a transitionary part, a transitionary section that makes the listener feel suspended up in the air, mercy of inertia, kind of like going up off a ramp. And in this case, how do you do that? Remove the drums. Maybe the bass as well. You remember the drums. We replace the melody with just the chords, which in theory now we are doing the motif in our harmony instead of the melody, which once again, when you're making music, you have 3 components: melody, harmony, rhythm. And those 3 are present in pretty much every single piece that exists. Sometimes one is more coherent than the other, and that's just what happens. And when it comes to musicians and composers, usually the musician is going to favor one of the 3 and then build around for the other 2. In my case, I'm a melodically oriented musician. I work best with melodies, with individual melodies, and then building for that kind of thing. Nico, behave. And we got sorry, that caught me off guard. So let's see where it goes. We're having the going upwards. We have a violin or a string sample in the background giving us very cool arpeggiations of the chords that the piano is playing. So arpeggiation is when you play a chord one note at a time, and it is and it is that. Oh, good day. Ooh, nice. Go ahead, Dennis. Okay, so now we're bringing in the piano, we're bringing in the build-up. We're definitely building up towards a drop. We're having the drums kicking in. So we have 2 layers of drums. We have 2 layers of piano and synths. So I like it because in this case, we are having several sets of counterpoint within each other. Like thematically, yes, we're building for the Supernova, and it's really cool. But musically, I really like this approach. I really like this approach because usually when you do these kinds of build-ups, you're going to have different instruments interacting with each other. But what Xtrullor has done here is that he's taking two versions of each instrument line and building contrasting parts of the same thing. So in this case, for example, we're having the regular drums that we could hear like faded back in the EQ and all that stuff. And then on top of that, we added a second layer of drums a little bit more further to the front, a bit more audible, giving us the new beat. Then we had the same with the piano. The piano was holding down keys a little bit further in the back. So we're having one set of instruments playing in the back, one set of instruments playing in the front, kind of like having two separate ensembles playing at the same time. And they're not playing the same thing. We are doing a very cool meta set of counterpoint. So counterpoint is usually, in its academic way, is usually the study of melodies. How they are, how they develop, how they interact with each other. Usually it's when you refer to more than one melody or two melodies and their relationship to one another and how these melodies end up being independent but working together. And in this case, we are taking this, extrapolating it into two entire ensembles. So, yeah. Off the ramp, a version of the motif. Really good. Really, really, really good. Really good. We got ourselves a lovely dropping of the beat, which, again, when it comes to dropping the beat, it's free form. You can do pretty much anything you want. It's one of the few types of structure that is completely free form. However, Xtrullor did something here that is fairly rare when it comes to dropping the beat. He put the melody back in. So we are having this really cool wah 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 moment, the whoop whoop moment that you have in dropping beats. And on top of that, we are having the melody, that first variation, piano-esque variation of the motif. They're both playing at the same time, giving us, another colloquial term of mine, the flying melody. Flying melody, exactly what is happening here. We have a very cool bass line middle section, and then on top we have a slower melody, very much flying on top of everything. I'm really liking this approach of adding taking counterpoint, extrapolating the concept and using it for more than just melodies. So there you go. Well played, chorus. And there you go. We're developing that motif. Oh, really cool drop as usual. All right, so yeah, we're hearing now, and we're just letting this. I'm just letting this play through so that we can really just soak this in, because this is really cool. Our bass line, of course, is taking most of the, and I like that he's actually using the bass line for this. And we're just doing the rhythms and everything, but we're keeping everything pretty consistent. Because when it comes to drops, a lot of artists just go completely ape, right? Like, they completely go insane, go off the rails, and just land wherever they want. But Xtrullor here has not done that. He has instead just continued what he was doing in a variation of dropping a beat. So this is entirely just rhythm. A rhythmic variation. So, yeah. Here's the variation of the motif again. Again. And now very smoothly we went from beat drop to just next section so smoothly because Xtrullor kept the bass line consistent. So, Potato, welcome to the day. This is really good. Like, it felt completely natural. Completely natural. Ooh. Off the ramp we go, similar as before with the piano. Okay, so for this part, I have some feedback for Mr. Xtrullor. So Xtrullor, here, for this kind of stuff, you want to use voice lead. I mean, this is, as far as I know, yes, an older voice, so I'm pretty sure you know about voice leading by now. But for those of you who don't, voice leading is a very, 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 very cool way of moving between chords. It basically means what is happening in chat. I have no idea, man. I can't read. So when it comes to voice leading, we have, let's use again the scale, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. So when it comes to chords, you will have some sort of combination. Let's say we have chord 1, 3, and 5, and then we have chord 6, 1, and 3. So with these two chords, if you were to play them straightforward, as they are, 4, 5, 6, 7, you would have 1, 3, 5, and then your next chord would be 6, 1, and 3 up here. However, with voice leading, what you do is that you take those common denominators and you just hold those. So in this case, we hold 1 and 3, then we just play note 5, and then holding 1 and 3, we just play note 6. And that's it. We're voice leading now. It makes changing chords a lot more smooth. It makes those transitions considerably better, and it just makes it a lot more fun, because then it gives you more room to actually populate those parts of the scales and of the audio spectrum with other really cool stuff, which Xtrullor has very much no difficulty doing. So let's see where this goes. Hard to comprehend. It's basically common denominator. It's common denominator. If you have two sets of chords and both chords have 3 notes, chord 1 and chord 2, out of the 3 notes, 2 of them are the same notes, then you just need to change the 3rd note, and that's it. That's basically how voice leading works. It is a somewhat advanced concept. It's one of the first concepts you learn once you understand how melody harmony works. But yeah, let's just see where it goes. Off the ramp again. We're doing a similar build up to last time, now with the variation of the motif. We're building, and this time, similar to the first time we did this, but this time we actually did a variation of, instead of taking full-on counterpoint, we actually added the wow, 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 wow. There you go. Enzo, do not advocate for violence against yourself in my chat. Alright, let's see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. Woo-hoo! There you go, that's one way. Nice. And notice how now we are on the climax of the song. And we are just completely... I almost dropped my water bottle. And we are now completely just making this drop so much better. How did we make this drop better than last time? We omitted the melody. The first time around, we had the melody keeping the drop in this gray area of technically a drop, technically not, like back and forth, gray area. This time, we completely didn't. And with that, the drop feels like a drop. We are in the final minute of the track. So, yeah, there you go. Let's see. We introduce some melody. There you go. That was on the screen in the background too, yeah. Oh, this is cool. Really, really good, man. This is just fun. This is material that is pretty much completely unrelated to anything else. But it's a drop beat. Who cares? Alright, we drop that, and now we are in outro territory. And we bring back that initial version of the motif, echoing, recapitulating the start. And we're gonna end it with the half cadence right there. We just let it echo through, and there we go. There we go. Man, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. There you go. That was Supernova by Xtrullor. That was such a fun trip. That was a really, really fun trip. Once again, everybody, this has been the Basterd's LFA. Oh, no, hang on. Half cadence. I mentioned half cadence and didn't explain it. So, when you're making music, you're doing one of two things. You're building tension, you're resolving the tension. The point in between is called a cadence. However, a half cadence is when you don't finish that resolution and you leave it for the next section to complete. And there's that. That's what you do. And in this case, it would be resolved in the next section or the next song, which creates that anticipation for the next one. There you go. I just wanted to explain that more. So, once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA Layman-friendly analysis. Do not request songs just yet. Yeah, this has been the Basterd's LFA Layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, all that good stuff. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3 seconds, I will be linking it down below in the description. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, go to the Discord, link down below, and go to the LFA requests channel and follow the instructions on the pinned messages. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. Full schedule in the Discord and the Twitch showing in your local time zone so that you don't have to worry about that calculating and that kind of stuff. And follow the gaming channel. We do have a gaming channel where we every once in a while post the VODs of the gaming after shows when they happen. Games are Basterd. Link down below, or you can just search for it. Same user as James R. Basterd, just swap the J for a G and you got it. And yeah, there you go. That was really cool, man. That was really, really cool. Supernova by Xtrullor. Really, really good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.